This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to Daily Blast Live. It's Tuesday, January 21st. I'm here with Al, Brandon, Lindsay, and I am Tori. Hi.
Hello.
Hey. Hi.
Hey.
Let's get right to it. Today's the day because President Trump's impeachment trial is set to begin in the Senate in just a little bit. Majority Leader Mitch McConnell released his set of proposed rules, which will be debated today. They give each side only 24 hours to present their case. So that's broken up into two 12-hour days each. But since the trial doesn't begin until 1 p.m. Eastern time, guess what? This means it will extend well past midnight. On the other side, Minority Leader Chuck Schumer took issue with the plan, calling it a, quote, cover-up meant to hide evidence from the American people. Well, where's the president, you ask? Well, he's in Switzerland, attending the Davos World Economic Forum, where he is trumpeting the U.S. economy.
Today, I'm proud to declare that the United States is in the midst of an economic boom, the likes of which the world has never seen before.
So I want to obviously just word to the wise. Greta Thunberg will be at Davos, so we'll see a glance between the two of them again, which I can't wait for.
I would call that a glare. Not
a glare.
The glance is like romantic.
I know. Do you think it's fair to go so far into the night? Usually when you go into the night, it's so people don't get the news cycle.
Well, the Supreme Court selected the time, right? One of the justices. So
Chief Justice, right? Yeah.
Exactly. So I don't think that it's anything that McConnell is doing. I think that everyone had a lot of time to prepare for this, right? Nancy Pelosi, well before our Christmas break and the Senate's Christmas break and the House of Republicans. I mean, the House of, the House of Representatives. But the Senate is mostly Democrat. But they had their chance to get their ducks in a row. Now the Senate's having their chance to do their thing. And so I think everyone should have 12 hours to get it together. I think that's more than enough. You had the whole
winter break. 12 hours? Like, if they're going to do it on Friday at 5 o'clock and go to 2 a.m.
This is not a surprise. McConnell said from the beginning, we're going to go quickly, 6 days a week, and we're going to go 12 hours a day. So the fact that anybody is surprised should really be ridiculous at this point.
You really shouldn't have a problem with it. If you're going to stay up for Golden State Warriors versus the Houston Rockets past 12
People aren't going to do that unless they have money on the game.
No, I understand that. But if you stand up for a sporting event, this is a part of history. So you should be okay with it as long as all the ducks are in a row.
Well, it is a tactic. Let me be honest. It's a strategy in D.C. to tuck you in at night and not see it so people aren't awake. It's a strategy. Will it work? I don't know. But it is from Chief Justice Roberts.
But Nancy Pelosi had a strategy waiting this long to send them over. So everyone's doing their own strategies, and we'll see what happens.
It's a strategy. I don't begrudge him from using it. You got to do what you got to do. He's trying to win.
That's exactly right. All right. Well, what do we think about Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders? Because guess what? She's slamming him in a new interview with The Hollywood Reporter. Hillary Clinton says he was in Congress for years. Nobody likes him. Nobody wants to work with him. He got nothing done. Hillary also declined to answer a question about whether she would endorse and campaign for him if he wins the Democratic nomination. So a little background, and then I'm jumping to the panel. They ran in 2016, and a lot of people, I'm not saying me, think that the Democratic National Committee, Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Hillary Clinton, ruined his chances by sort of manipulating the debates and manipulating the votes and the Electoral College and who got what coverage. So there's some anger there. But I've also heard that nobody does like working with Bernie Sanders, very well known for years and years in D.C., because he's sort of a Larry David.
But don't you find it ironic that Hillary Clinton is saying he's not likable and that he's a career politician? Well, ma'am, this is the pot calling the kettle black now, isn't it? I think the reason why people didn't vote for her was because she wasn't as likable and because she was a career politician. But these are the biggest reasons that we got from people who didn't want to side with her on the Democratic side.
And I do hear that, and I do think she came off as unlikable. I do. But what she's saying, too, is I at least got bills as a senator through, as Secretary of State. She knew how to work with the other side. She's saying, and I've heard this before, Bernie is so progressive and so, like, curmudgeon that he doesn't really get, he has a very low a rating of getting bills through. He actually doesn't get a lot done.
But a lot of people can say that she got these things passed through corruption. I mean, alleged corruption. Because no one, when people look at the Clintons, and we hear this time after time on the news, I mean, they're not the squeakiest, they're not the cleanest politicians that are out there. So I think you're always going to have someone or some side come out and say whatever. But Al, it sounds like one of those things where you don't get that gig. Now you come out in spite. Now,
what if he's hard to work with, though? What if he is? Just say he is. Is that okay? Trump's probably not easy to work with.
I was supposed to say, it doesn't seem like McConnell is really the true way for a lot of bills to be passed either. I mean, this is kind of where we are now. Everybody kind of likes their politicians to say, you know, we're going to do it the way my constituents want, and anything else that comes in our way, we're going to block it, we're going to stop it, we're going to delay it, we're going to, you know, filibuster it. And everybody thinks that's great when it's your side, but when it's the other side and they're doing the same thing, well, now what are we talking about? Nothing getting done. And they're already setting the table for nothing to be done. So again, like I always say to our viewers, does it feel like you're winning?
But Tori,
does this feel like we're winning?
How is this beneficial that Hillary Clinton is coming out saying, yes, maybe his campaign and his camp is sexist in this interview? She's saying a lot of things. How is this benefiting in an election year? Why would you go out and do this? I know it was an earlier interview that was released, but why say these things when you know that the goal is to win 2020?
I agree it's a little off-putting, but notice that Warren and Hillary Clinton both attacked Bernie Sanders in the same week for being more sexist. So maybe it's a strategy.
Strategy?
See, I'm wondering.
I called it.
Who knows? Did you call it? You look great in that burgundy. What is that color?
It's
like a Merlot?
Yeah, that is like a Merlot.
Merlot.
I was going to say.
Can we just talk about the fact that Brandon said strategy?
I know.
Like that's some new thing in politics.
You were one that you
said it's going to roll up and hope something goes down.
He has been saying this since last week. He said Elizabeth Warren had a master plan.
You do that after football games? Yeah, I told you they had a strategy going into the game. Remember I said that?
Go to school, they're going to learn. We do have to warn you about a new deadly outbreak, so everyone pay attention. This is coming from China. Chinese authorities are working to contain the coronavirus. It's not about the beer. It has infected nearly 300 people. It's killed at least 6. So it's spread from human to human, and it's described as a, quote, viral respiratory illness like SARS or pneumonia or the flu. Authorities are already monitoring air travelers to ensure people traveling from China are not infected. And with the Chinese New Year coming up, hundreds of millions of Chinese are set to travel. And just so you know, it's already spread to South Korea, Japan, and Thailand. So, yeah, when you hear those numbers in the airport, it started in Wuhan at a meat market, a seafood market, and there was live poultry and live animals, exotic animals, much like the movie Contagion. So also be careful with the meats you're eating. If you're eating exotic meats, be extremely careful.
And seafood.
And seafood.
And it's scary because a lot of people don't even know when they have the symptoms that they might think it's a cold. So I guess the best bet would be to just cover your mouths because that's how you can exchange through humans.
Yeah.
Coughing and sneezing on someone else. So on these planes especially, you just have to be careful.
I mean, when you travel domestically, internationally, you do see people wearing those covers over their mouth. Would you guys ever do that?
My mom has to now.
Right.
So my mom has a port that's directed to her heart. It's like a needle, a tube to her heart. And she can't, when we talk to her, when she's getting the port change, we have to wear masks and suits because anything would go directly to the heart. So she's going to wear a big, really beautiful, bedazzled mask.
That's
cool.
You know I like bedazzled.
You love it, right?
That's a great strategy.
Nice, there you go.
Way to be proactive.
That's not a new trend.
I used to think it was so weird when people wore the mask, but now it's like, it makes sense. I don't want to get sick.
I know. All right, moving on to this. In North Carolina, a father was arrested over the weekend for a wrestling incident. This was caught on camera. His son was wrestling in a high school match when the opponent picked him up, slammed him to the mat. Yeah, the ref called it illegal, but that's when the alleged father runs in and allegedly tackles the wrestler. He has been charged with simple assault and disorderly conduct.
That's not right.
I think
That's not right at all.
Well, okay, but do we all agree? I understand why this dad would do that.
No.
You understand.
It happens. If you're playing in a high contact sport, you know things are gonna happen. In football, you're gonna get helmet to helmet every once in a while. That doesn't give you the right to come running off the side and interrupting the play.
In a high school match, if someone did that to your son, a cheap shot.
I'm gonna let my
Has
kid.
that ever happened to you? You played football your entire life, including professionally. I'm sure your parents, especially your dad, was at a lot of your games. Have you ever been cheap shotted? And did you hear your dad from the stands? Did he run down and yell something?
Yes, I've been cheap shotted. I've been knocked out, but my parents leave it up to me to handle it. You are the professional, or you're a young kid that's learning how to handle these situations. Daddy's not going to be there all the time to come try and rescue you. What you do is you get up and then you beat that kid within the whistle, because now that's just teaching your dad. That's teaching the kid that you can cheap shot as well.
Okay, that's very fair.
You're not helping your kid with the lesson on that one. That guy should be arrested and banned from all matches.
Well, he is arrested. Yeah. He will be arrested, but I do understand.
Sure, banned as well.
Yeah, I do understand like your reaction as a parent, I assume.
That's a nice form tackle, though.
Yeah,
it was real nice.
Rib Rock Gut just wrote me, Tori, the father did a cheap shot. He's totally right. Yeah. Nice writing in. Well, a French tennis player found himself the center of controversy. This story is everything. It's the Australian Open. It's all over this incident caught on camera. During a break, he asked a ball girl to peel a banana for him. Well, the umpire telling him the girl was, quote, not his slave. So she hands him back the banana. Twitter was quick to react. Even tennis legend Martina Navratilova commented saying, what's next, grapes? But now the tennis player is explaining, saying, yo, I had cream on my hands to prevent myself from sweating, which is why I asked the ball girl to peel my banana.
Thank you. Calm down, Twitter. That's their jobs to do these things. Like, it's like when a football player, you have your gloves on. You don't want to touch a water bottle. We have people on the sidelines that's going to spray water in your mouth.
But Sam Shocker, who was a ball girl for 4 summers, and
our co-host
takes it very seriously, said it wasn't her job. You were only meant to focus on the balls, and that you weren't meant to hold anything of the players.
Yeah.
Does the umpire always jump in these incidents? Like, didn't he jump in with Serena Williams too and get in a little spat for that? Umpires seem like they do a lot.
I like the idea of like her peeling his banana because he's using his hands for his job.
I agree.
Yeah.
Maybe he should eat before the match starts. That'd be another
potassium.
idea.
He's trying not to dehydrate.
Yeah. You do chug stuff, right?
I don't know. I never played either sport.
Some kind of Gatorade you chug?
Yes, you can just get the potassium straight from a
That's right. DBL is live. I play the sports. DBL is live, and coming up, I chat with the heroes of heavy metal, members of Scorpions, talk about one of their craziest nights on tour. And you, the viewer, you're our 5th host. The stage is set for the Super Bowl, but should the big game be held on a Saturday?
No.
Your comments for and against are coming up next.
We're looking.
Hi, DBL Nation. Happy Tuesday. Thanks for joining us today. We hope you joined us yesterday as we did our MLK Jr. show. It was a really moving day, and soon coming up, we'll be reading comments from that show. So thank you for writing in, and we hope you watched it. Let's go to the desk and check in with our host.
So we said there was an allegedly we did meet. And then you said allegedly.
Banana Gate.
No,
there's no Banana Gate.
All right,
It's these kids' job to do this.
I know this.
There are these kids' jobs. We had video. Well, not video. I have a picture that I wanted to get to.
We just got insider
where ball boys or ball people, ball kids, hold the umbrella for the player.
Brandon, we just got insider information. Brianna, our PA just said that she played tennis and that would never happen.
She what?
It would
She played tennis and she said that would never happen.
The banana?
Yeah, because I put it more like Brandon did with the water bottle. Because they're using their hands for their job.
Can I ask? I'm really confused about this. The umpire can yell at anybody on the field, pretty much. That's their job, is to oversee all things.
Really? Yeah, I mean, they got into it with. They get into it all the time with Serena.
That's what I want to know. Like, are they always overstepping, or is their job to keep everything in order.
Yeah, but
She definitely seemed
allegedly talking
weirded out.
she was weirded out, but at the same time, it's you got to keep the game efficient. Like you have to keep the game running. So if I'm a player, I have some sort of cream on my hands. I don't want my hands to be too slimy, sloppy, to be peeling the banana. Two, something could get on it. There was no like eat it. So if you're just there, can you peel that really
Banana
fast?
has an outside that
So I can eat it. But what if you get it on? If you get it on the banana at the same time, and you grab the banana, it's just. I think everyone's looking at it like, oh my gosh, you're being entitled. I'm out there for 3 hours. It's our job to do like right here. We have our own hair and makeup staff. So for now on, if y'all have a problem with that peeling banana, don't tell our hair and makeup people to go get y'all's food when it comes here. When it gets to the front, it's the same exact thing. You're trying to compete at a high level right now. Their job is to do your hair and makeup.
All right, welcome back to DBL. It's time for Fifth Host. And in 2 weeks, the Kansas City Chiefs, woo, 2 people, will take on the San Francisco 49ers. Woo, in the Super Bowl. Great work, guys.
Disgruntled Green Bay fans.
Yeah, everyone's the Green Bay Packer man is very upset. But Super Sick Monday, the day after the big game, is one of the most popular days to call in sick. It's like 6 million people do it. A simple cure could be moving the Super Bowl to Saturday, but some superstitious fans say, no way. So DBL Nation, are you a fan of moving the game?
Okay, Germs from Facebook says, I have been saying this for years. It's simple to move the game one day so people won't be, quote, hungover at work. No. It's called Super Bowl. May I, please? It's called Super Bowl Sunday for a reason. Enjoy Sundays. Football is about Sundays, and I know playoffs happen on Saturdays. We're talking about the Super Bowl. And I think if you cannot make it to work, you need to get it together and stop drinking a little bit earlier so that you can make it to work. Because actually, the number is 17 million people call out, according to Market Watch, on Super Bowl Monday. And I think you really need to be an adult and bring your behind to work because you waste employers $4 billion when you do that. So, unless you want to get fired, stop drinking early, get to work.
There we go. Wow.
So, Brandon, I expect you to be here.
Do this segment?
Seth from Facebook says, no, it's called Super Bowl Sunday. Just make Monday a national holiday. Absolutely not. I think it's great because on Saturday nights, you can go have a great time. The game ends around, like 10:30, 11:30, almost 12 at night. And then Sunday, you wake up, you recover, and you take your kids to church and do all the other good stuff like that. So you're saying go for Saturday. I think it's a great idea. As a player, we have 2 weeks to prepare for it anyway.
Yeah, but I got a 2011 Sports Illustrated as to why it's on a Sunday.
And then 17 million people are going to call out of church.
Who cares? Well, that's no. But you have kids. You need to use your PTO days for days that actually matter. It's Super Bowl
Monday.
Monday.
You stop drinking at the end of the third quarter. Get it together.
Like you have to do at the actual game.
There's no one just dumping it down your throat. Yeah, you can stop drinking, guys. Lisa from Facebook says, move it to Saturday, make it begin at a reasonable hour for people watching on the East Coast. Wow, we sound like some old folks in here. Look, the Super Bowl, whether we want to say it or not, is a de facto holiday as it is. You don't move it. What do you want to move Thanksgiving to Saturday too? No. You keep things where they are for one reason. It's called Super Bowl Sunday. That Super Bowl owns that day of the week for that one day of the year. I say keep it how it is. If you're worried about calling out late to work, just do it like they do in the stadiums, like Lindsay has said. Stop drinking at the end of the third quarter.
All right. Easy. Well, Sue from Facebook says, no, not everyone works on Mondays. Many people work every day of the week. That's a great point, too, Sue. But here's why it's on a Sunday. From the Sports Illustrated. One, the leagues and teams prefer to entertain on Saturday, right? Two, the host community, the town, prefers that people stay another day so that you get more revenue for that day. And finally, the biggest reason is that Saturday nights are terrible for TV.
Terrible for TV.
Yeah,
it's
except
the
for
Super Bowl.
Saturday Night Live.
It's the Super Bowl. If people are saying it's going to play on Wednesday, people are going to watch on Wednesday.
Right,
not as many.
Not as many coming up on DBL.
Not I, Brandon, not I.
I chat with Scorpions. Find out why one of their hit songs is still relevant 3 decades later. It really is. It really is.
numbers. Numbers don't lie.
Hold on. I want to ask.
Numbers.
Let me ask Brianna. Would you watch the Bowl if it was on a Saturday? Are you a football fan? You are?
I would watch.
Okay, you're not a good.
I agree with you.
Yeah, me too. You're now competing against nightclubs. Yeah, you're competing against movies. You're competing against the people out of town for the weekend.
But you know your friends who just show up for the free cheese and alcohol, they will still show up on a Saturday night because then they can go out after. You can make it into a thing.
If you barely care about the Super Bowl, you just go on Sunday because that's where all your friends are. On Saturday, your friends are going to be scattered. Some will be at bars.
Yeah, you got to welcome them to your neighborhood. You got to be like, hey, this is our community on Saturday. Sunday, let's sit down, eat some of the pigs in a blanket, right?
That sounds like a
pigs in a blanket. On Sunday.
What is the most popular show on a Saturday right now?
SNL.
Yep.
And that the ratings aren't. Yeah, it's not that.
I mean, it's popular.
What does it do?
Culturally.
What does it do? Maybe a 1.5?
Maybe.
1.5.
So what's a popular show on a Saturday?
All the
I don't really watch much
If you think about it, must-see TV used to be Thursday nights and Sunday nights. That's where they put all the stuff. Friday and Saturday are where they send shows to die. Yeah. Sunday's when everybody's home.
Shonda Land.
Rocking like a hurricane. Welcome back to DBL. The German rock band Scorpions are bringing their biggest hits to Las Vegas this summer for a residency that celebrates over 50 years of rock and roll. Well, earlier I sat down with frontman Klaus Meine and lead guitarist Matthias Yabs in today's Chatting with the Stars. DBL, I'm going to start with the weirdest question. Have you ever trashed a hotel room, or what's the most rock and roll thing you've ever done?
I think Herman, our drummer back in the 80s, I mean, there was a party and he came back in the room and said, guys, you're watching TV or what, you know? So somebody tried to open the door and then he actually threw the TV out of the window, and our manager back then called at the reception, you know, we have no TV in the room, come on.
That's pretty rock and roll, man. Now, I want to ask you, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame just announced this year's inductees. I want to know, what do you think about this year's class, and is it important for you guys to get into the Hall of Fame?
It would be nice one day. We've been waiting for a few decades.
Yeah, right?
It seems to be that there is more recognition for bands of our genre lately, and they seem to be ignored for quite a few years. And I think we still get our chance, and if not this year, maybe next year.
That's awesome. Well, I think you definitely deserve to be there. Winds of Change is my favorite, so I have to go there really quick. It had such an important song and music video, and the lyrics speak to me about what we're talking about today with wars, with climate change. Winds of Change. Back then?
It is, you know. We just celebrated the 30th anniversary of the coming down of the Berlin Wall. It's very relevant today, I think, because when we play it live, people sing along and they understand the message.
Yes.
Because it's a peace anthem, and it talks about, hopefully, that we all can live together in a peaceful future.
Oh, and I love when even the whistling is like the winds of your throat of change. I just think it's a phenomenal song. Well, everyone, we want to know that tickets for Scorpions Sin City nights are on sale now. Klaus and Matthias, thank you so much for joining us on DBL Rock Out.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Klaus, that was Klausum. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by When You Fall.
Beauty Blasters, what's up? It's Jeray for the Slay, and today we're talking about that skin that slays. Now, you all have beautiful skin. Don't get me wrong, everyone's beautiful on the inside or whatever, but sometimes we need to update that skincare routine a little bit more to get that glow. Okay, did y'all catch that? That glow. All right. Now, for today's topic, we're talking about toning and the joys of using a toner. Now, it's not as crazy as it used to be. I know you guys are all rolling your eyes at home thinking, oh my gosh, here we go. He's going to talk about some sea breeze. Not today, honey. Toners have changed a lot over the years, and as much as we all hated using them when in our teens and how much it dried out our skin with all that alcohol content, in today's world, we actually have much more toners to fit every type of skin type. It's not just for oily or acne-based skin anymore. So let's go ahead and break down a couple for you guys. My favorite is using a gentle toner, something that will simply help to make sure to take off any remnants of makeup after you wash your face and before you apply your moisturizer onto your skin. Now, you don't want it to be too drying and you don't want it to be too active at the same time. So to start, I love the First Aid Beauty Exfoliating Toning Wipes. Now, these guys are little circle pads that are predisposed with serum in them to help to make sure that we are brightening, hydrating, and keeping that skin looking beautiful, honey. Okay. Now, another thing you can also use is a oil control toner. These guys are still out here, but we don't have to use that high alcohol content once again. One of my favorites for these guys is actually from Ole Hendrickson, or you can always check out the Ultra Facial Oil Control Toner from Kiehl's. This guy is amazing for balancing out your skin if you might be a little bit excessively oily, and it's also going to help to make sure that we're minimizing and tightening those enlarged pores if you're more on the oily skin type. Now, another great toner is going to be for radiance in the skin. This guy is one of my favorites and what I use on my skin every night. Peter Thomas Roth Glycolic 8% Toner is amazing for improving radiance and uneven skin tone as well. Now, for all of these, all you want to do is either take it out of the package or take a separate cotton round and go ahead and disperse your product onto your cotton, taking it from your T-zone outwards to make sure that we're smoothing any of that extra makeup right off of our skin and applying the serum where we need it. Now, you guys check out some of those toners. There's every type of toner from drugstore to prestige. So let me know your favorites down below or write me on any social media platform at Jure for the Slay. We'll see you guys next time.
A new study published in the Lancet Health Journal says your Fitbit could predict the next flu outbreak. Researchers looked at data from nearly 50,000 Fitbit users. Using the device's heart rate and sleep tracking tech, they were able to spot groups of people who might be suffering from the virus's early symptoms. The data isn't specific enough to diagnose someone on the individual level, but given a large enough sample size, it could spot trends that could signal a potential outbreak. Right now, the tech is only advanced enough to track those trends at the state level, but with advances in technology, doctors could one day narrow down individual counties or cities that are at risk. Experts say that early warning would help doctors prepare a response and, most importantly, keep the virus from spreading. And that's Connecting the Dots.
Welcome back to DBL. We hope you joined us yesterday for our special Martin Luther King Jr. show. Our hosts Erica Cobb, Al Jackson, Lindsey Granger, and Brandon London spoke about what MLK Jr. meant to them and means to them currently. Well, a lot of you in DBL Nation wrote in letting us know how moved you were by yesterday's show, and we actually want to read some of these comments. So the first one comes from Kara. Thanks for writing in. Kara says, I truly did not realize the daily issues and struggles that people of color go through. Your show today brought to my awareness that I do not know enough. But it is refreshing to know that there's so much more I, a white woman, can learn about society and the challenges faced by people across the social, economic, and racial spectrum.
I think that goes for us too. I learned from you guys sitting on the panel to know about what MLK's legacy meant to you guys, where we've come, and how we can still move forward a lot. But I never want to get lost in the idea that we're just so far behind. We took strides forward. And so, a lot of the stories we reported on were negative things that happened in our community, shedding light, but we have taken major strides. And I want to stress that in the black community in America. So
you're absolutely right.
I think a lot of it is what you say and what people hear. When you say, like, these things have happened to me, I've suffered, been oppressed at certain points in my life. I think a lot of times people hear, they're saying, well, I didn't have anything to do with that. What are you saying? Right. The reason I'm doing so well in life is the reason is because you were oppressed. It's not that. I think people are just saying this has been my experience on this planet. I hope future generations for all races have it a little bit differently. And if we can understand that, like, when we're telling about our experience, we're not attacking you, I think a lot more people will listen.
I agree. Tony and Barb, I want to get this in. Says, my wife and I watch your panel daily. To see it on Martin Luther King Jr. Day was special. We are white, elderly, but we discuss race issues all the time. We agree with we are all created equal, otherwise is ignorance. It was a phenomenal show. You guys did a great job. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Bye, guys.